These are the 7 things that I did to turn my ulcerative colitis around. My name's Jacob and I've been living with inflammatory bowel disease for 10 years. So I wanted to share the ways that I've been able to turn my ulcerative colitis around and go from being in the hospital bed to thriving and being in the best shape of my life. So the first thing that I did to turn my ulcerative colitis around was accept my situation. Things aren't going to change immediately, and healing takes time. So you've got to come to terms with the suffering that you're going through now, because it's not going to just suddenly end. Everything takes time for change to happen. So you've just got to accept that things are a bit shit right now. And that's just the way things are. And that helped me tremendously on the days when I was flaring very badly. I was sat there on the toilet and I was not being able to handle it. But then when I truly accepted what was going on and I just let it happen, and it doesn't stop it from hurting, but it does let you just come to terms with it. So just accept that things are rough for now and they may take some time to turn around, and you will get through it. The second thing that I did to turn my ulcerative colitis around was I started talking. I started sharing what I was feeling. This is something I was always quite good at anyway, so it didn't take much practice for me to start talking. But I started confiding in others, explaining what was going on, and I actually was seeing a therapist. And that actually did tremendously help me get through the worst flare of my life, because she gave me some tools and tips to deal with it, such as accepting the situation I was in. She taught me how to accept the situation. Well, not how to accept the situation, but she just sort of suggested it to me, but I just took it on board. And just being able to talk about what I was going through, what the flare was like, and actually making YouTube videos about it has helped tremendously. So I think sharing what's going on with you, making sure your boss at work understands what you're going through, and it's not like you need to lay it on thick. You could just say matter-of-factly, this is what I'm dealing with. They're just so people understand what is happening, because it's an invisible disease. From the outside, people were saying I would look like the picture of top physical health while I was sat in the hospital bed, because it's all going on inside of me. So you have to verbalize what's going on inside of you. Make sure people understand. But it's not about making it a sob story. It's about just sharing what's going on in a matter-of-fact way so people understand why you're suffering. So the third thing that I did to turn my ulcerative colitis around is I put faith in my medication. Because medications are the thing that's going to bring you out of flare. And I've seen some studies where the placebo effect really does make a difference. And it's just putting your faith into your medications. And just putting your faith into your medications can make them more effective. So why not truly believe that this medication will heal you? You need to truly believe it. The more you believe it, the more it will work. If you're really cynical about your medications and you believe this won't change anything, it's more likely that it won't. So next time you're having your medication, just truly believe that this will change your situation, and wait and see. The healing will come. But if it doesn't work and you're months down the line and you're still flaring, then find another medication, because medications are the key to bringing you out of that flare. And then we can move on to the next steps. So the fourth way that I turned my ulcerative colitis around is I started focusing on sleep. Sleep is one of the most important aspects to your healing journey. That's when all the healing happens, and it's the gateway to feeling good. You need to get a good night's sleep. Otherwise, you're going to feel very depressed and crazy. Because I know, because I've been there. I've been on those corticosteroids and I hated them because they ruined my sleep. And since then, I take sleep so seriously that I go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, and I have done ever since I got out of hospital, because I do not want to ever go back to that situation where I feel that bad and my sleep is that rough, because it made me feel like the worst person in existence. Everything's tough when you have bad sleep. As soon as you have a good sleep, everything starts to come together and feel possible. And just make sure that you're trying your best to get a good night's sleep. Go to bed at the same time every day. That's what's really helped me. Just simply going to bed and waking up at the same time every day. And I know sleep can be a challenge, especially when you're flaring. You might wake up to run to the bathroom multiple times throughout the night. But just try your best and allocate enough time so that you can have the opportunity to get the best amount of sleep. But don't beat yourself up if you can't get it, because I know it's not always possible. Even when you are not flaring and you're in a healthy state, you still have nights when it's hard to get some sleep. And the next step really follows on from that, and that is focusing on your diet. By now, you probably know the kind of foods that are going to make you flare. Make a note of them and make sure you don't eat them. And then start eating some healing foods, foods that don't make you flare. Only you are the expert on yourself, but I can give you some examples of the ways that I ate that helped me during my flare, but they might not help you. And that was, I ate a lot of oats and peanut butter. My rationale for that was peanut butter is high in calories and I was losing weight. So I needed to eat some high calorically dense foods, otherwise I was going to waste away. And oats I went for because I had access to Ready Brek. Now, Ready Brek is a finely milled oat and it's got vitamins added to it. And my rationale was I was going to the bathroom so much and I was bleeding that I needed these vitamins just to top me up, give me that boost. And the fact that it was highly milled made it easier to digest. I also had lots of mashed potato and I added chicken in with that too. And I did add some butter just because I felt like I need these calories. What's the easiest way to add calories? Just add fats to things. Here's some butter. Here's some peanut butter. Whatever butter I could get my hands on, I was eating it. But coming out of that flare, I've been able to eat all sorts of foods, but I try and eat as cleanly as possible, and only you are an expert on yourself. So write down those foods that do and don't work for you and focus on those. And again, the next step works in tandem with the two previous steps, and that is working on exercising. Go out for a morning walk. Move as much as you can. If you've got energy, lift some weights or go for a run, whatever you feel like you can do. But if you can increase the amount of exercise that you're doing in tandem with the sleep and the diet, you're going to start to feel like a new person. These are the things that really bring you into a healthy state. And that all lies with that foundation of getting that right medication. So use those 3 steps all together and you will truly feel like you're a new person, a superhuman. It really does work like that. These are the basics to anyone feeling healthy. And these are the ways that I've been choosing to focus my energies and efforts, live in the healthiest way that I can, because I know how much flaring sucks. So exercising is very important. It not only gets you stronger and fitter, but it also helps build mental resilience. And you will have built up a lot of mental resilience if you're flaring. There's no doubt about that. Having to deal with your bowels bleeding every day and running to the bathroom and suffering is strengthening your mind. So don't underestimate the amount of training that you're already going through. You could think of it as a training camp, and physical exercise is going to build your physical resilience. So when you are not in a flare state, I suggest getting as strong and as fit as possible. So if next time you flare, you're in a much better state to power through it. And the last way that I turned my ulcerative colitis around is that I kept in constant communication with my healthcare provider. If there was anything that went awry, something went wrong, maybe I saw a little bit of blood or mucus, or I was worried I had a virus because I'm on immunosuppressants, I contacted my healthcare provider because they are the key to keeping you sane, not panicking when things are going rough, and keeping you healthy. To this day, I still get moments of panic when, like I said, I might find I've got a virus or something, or I've got a cold. I'm worried about it escalating. So I just call up the doctor or I call up the specialist and I say, look, I've been experiencing this. Give me advice because I'm on these immunosuppressants. You never know what could happen. Just stay in that constant communication. And it doesn't just help the mind, but also the body, because if you're experiencing any sort of flare symptoms, you can bring them up quickly and address them quickly with appropriate medications, because we don't want colitis to escalate. If you start having flare symptoms, there's no need to wait. You know what's going to happen next. You might have mucus today, but next week you might be bleeding. So take action today to try and mitigate that flare as much as possible. Get on those medications to get you back to healing. And that's another way of keeping in constant communication, is the specialist might then say, let's get a blood test in. Let's get a stool sample in so we can see what's going on. A window into how your body is looking right now. Then you can act accordingly. So those are the ways that I have been able to turn my ulcerative colitis around. And if you'd like to hear about these things in a bit more detail, then click this video here, where I talk about my 10 years of experience living with ulcerative colitis in greater detail.